Hey, welcome back to Texas Shine Doctor. Thanks for being a part of our family. Today's video, we're going to explain to you how to properly and professionally wash your ceramic coated car. Now that your car has been professionally ceramic coated, let's talk about how to maintain it and the products that you're going to need. So to keep it simple, you need a good wash mitt, nice clean wash mitt. You get these from Chemical Guys on Amazon. I think they're in our hyperlink that we sent you. They're super soft. They move a lot of grime around without really pressing anything into the paint. They lift it really well. I'm a huge fan of these grit guards, not really the ones that have the giant holes in them, but these have little funnels on them. So once they're placed in your wash bucket, and you fill it up, and as you're going in and out with your wash mitt in the bucket, it's actually shoving all the grime down to the bottom of the bucket and not really letting it come back up, get into your mitt, transfer it to your car. Definitely a foam cannon is going to be very nice, and our pH balance soap. And what we're going to do is we're going to fill this foam cannon up about a quarter of the way. We're going to fill the rest of it with water. That's pretty much all you're going to need with that. When it comes to the drying aspect, I'm a huge auto fiber drying towel fan, especially the dreadnoughts. They're highly absorbent, they're massive, and they catch everything off in one shot. All right, so now let's talk about your wheel portion of your wash. So I always like to start with my wheels and then move to my paint. When it comes to wheel cleaners, I like using Dark Fury. You can get it at O'Reilly's or you can get it online. It's a very mild, non-acidic wheel cleaner. I'll put like a quarter again of product and then the rest with water. Always want to wet your wheel first and then spray your product on it. I've also got a series of brushes. I like using these. They're Chemical Guys wheel brush also, but they're super soft. I think they're nylon or something, so they don't really scratch wheels up. These are called barrel brushes, and they're exactly what they sound like. They're so that you can get in between spokes and around, you know, holes in your wheels or whatever kind of wheels you got. This one's more for like trucks and such, so if you do have a lifted truck with the heavy fender liners and all that, you can reach up in there with this brush and scrub the fender liners. One of these bad boys. These are good for like cleaning around lug nuts and some like, you know, American Force wheels or just really spokey type wheels. You can get like in the little crevices and such. Now when the wheels are ceramic coated, you're not really gonna need to, again, scrub. You're just kind of touching it with something. So I'm gonna wet my wheel first. Spray my wheel cleaner usually from the inside out. It's okay if you get it on your caliper. I like to get it on the, it's okay if you get it on your rotor. And then I just kind of spray the rest of it. Let that kind of dwell for a second. If they're super dirty, I would rinse it again first and then reapply. This car's not that, the wheels aren't that dirty, I should say. And then, yeah, I just go around and clean your outer ring. Again, this is where your barrel brush will come in handy. You can get the inside of the wheel pretty well. And for the most part, it'll maneuver around calipers and such, which is really nice. I think these are Chemical Guys barrel brushes. What else is great about these is you can usually get in your spokes and whatnot. If you have dirty tires, you can use a purple power degreaser, which you can also use as a wheel cleaner and a tire cleaner. But you would basically spray your tire, get a tire brush and scrub your tires and spray them off. Anyways, now this wheel's ready to be cleaned. Now we're ready to move on to the next wheel. All right, so now we're gonna get into the pre-wash stage of this wash, and this is where we're gonna rinse the car, we're gonna foam the car, we're gonna rinse it again. That's gonna pretty much be 60 to 70% of the wash itself. Especially with the ceramic coating, your paint stays super slick, so things have a hard time sticking to it. So by the time you go rinsing water and soap and whatnot on it, it's gonna pretty much take care of majority of the grime that's on there before you go into what I call a contact wash, which is when you're gonna go from mitt to paint. I always like to start top to bottom on every stage of the wash, whether it's the pre-wash, contact wash, and the drying. Always start top to bottom. right, now that we are on the contact wash side of this, it's very important, whether you have a ceramic coated vehicle or not, to avoid any kind of like swirling motion. So you want to direct your mitt either, you know, side to side, or you can go, you know, this direction as well. As you're washing with one side and you're, again, going from top to bottom, I typically like to kind of get as far coverage as I can on the panel. I'll flip it and then I'll move to my other panel before I go dip my mitt in the wash bucket. And this is where that grit guard comes into play, because as I'm putting this in the wash bucket and kind of rubbing what I just took off down on there, it's gonna create like a vacuum, and it's pulling those little pebbles down to the bottom of the wash bucket, not coming back up in your mitts where you can potentially scratch your car. So I'll always use one side, careful on the overlapping, just kind of work your way down. I'm gonna flip again. I'm gonna start my fender, top to bottom. I like to be in the habit of rinsing or washing my mitt in between panels. And flipping. Also, another pro tip, if you're using a pressure washer at home, definitely recommend the electric pressure washer method. One, you could pretty much spray your hand with it and it's not going to cut anything. So it's super safe for vehicles, especially if you have PPF on it as well. Another good trick to get into is whenever you're switching from your foam cannon to your actual tip, I always just make sure it's on there. I'll spray away from the vehicle. What you don't want to happen is not getting your tip all the way on there and you go shooting and that tip will fly off and chip something. Ask me how I know. So back to the drying portion of this, again, touching on the auto fiber dreadnought towels. They're monsters, as you can see, but they're highly absorbent. So you can pretty much kind of get a bulk of the water with kind of one shot there. So I do recommend getting 2 towels, and after we're done, I'll explain to you how to kind of properly maintain your wash towels and stuff so they last a lot longer. But again, dry top to bottom. If you're washing outside, which most of you I'm assuming are, especially here in the summertime, I always like to dry the glass first and then go dry in the paint. You could use a electric leaf blower or some kind of air source to kind of get the majority of it off, but I always like to get the bulk of it off with a massive drying towel like the dreadnoughts, and then I'll go in after with my air tool and get all the water out of the crevices and the wheels and things of that nature. Now that we've seen and kind of gone over your basics on how to wash and maintain your ceramic coated car, I want to touch a little bit on like just some aftercare, because I know most of you are going to be doing this in your garage or in your driveway on the weekends. A big thing that a lot of people make mistakes wise is when it comes to the drying towels, I wouldn't use any detergents to wash your drying towels. Generally after we're done with a wash or something, or even when I was mobile or whenever I was washing it at my own house, I would put my drying towels in the washing machine and run a wash cycle on them. You could put some like vinegar in there or distilled white vinegar, and then I just run them on a low drying cycle to kind of get majority of the water out, and then I'd, you know, fold them up and put them back on the shelf. You don't want to like dry them heavily, because what you'll do is you'll burn these little fibers in here, and then eventually you're just wiping your car down with hardened plastic, and you'll leave little scratches and swirls and whatnot. Same with your wash mitts. After you wash your vehicle, spray the wash mitt out, drench it pretty good, and just put them in the bucket and put them back on your shelf. You want to kind of avoid things sitting on the shelf and being dusty, especially putting like your drying towels up on the shelf in your garage. I'd put them in a container of some sort, and then whenever you're ready to wash it again, you know, everything's in a cabinet, or everything is out of the dusty environment, because you don't want to spend the money and spend the time on maintaining your car if you're just scratching it up by making little mistakes. So if you have any questions on any of the process or the products, or you see something and you want to give me a shout, reach out anytime. 832-745-3397. Most of you customers have my personal cell phone as well. You can text me anytime. So thanks for being a part of the family.